Was I muted before? Were you missing all my wonderful talk about all the Realms games? Rolling Realms, Hero Realms, the very, very underrated Cthulhu Realms. Yeah, so we're going to go through and we're going to compare Realms games tonight. We are missing one Realms game, but I feel like we're all sick of that game anyway, so we won't even need to mention it. So, yeah.
Oh, hey Al.
What?
Did you start the show?
Yeah. We're going to
Okay.
talk about Cthulhu Realms and how it's really cool because in the trade row, there's an extra card so you can see what is going to be replaced in the trade row. It's a really neat mechanic that should have carried over to the other Realms games and it didn't, and it's sad. So we're going to talk about that first.
Are we
Right?
are we talking about that, or are we talking about Dodgeball?
You know, there's an app for this too.
Is there?
I mean, only like 3 people play it, but it's there.
I was gonna say I'm not really sure how popular that is.
Yeah. Okay, fine. What do you want to talk about?
Raining on Al's parade, 8 weeks in a row, or 7 actually, I guess. But I managed to not mute myself this week, but instead mute Al. So it's.
I feel like that was a little passive aggressive.
No one cares what Al's got to say, so I'm gonna mute him, and that'll be fine. That's not true. Everyone loves Al.
Yeah. Not everyone, but that's part of my job.
Not everyone. It's not universal. Yeah, we're gonna talk about round 7 here. I think that's the plan.
I'd rather
Anyway,
not
you'd
talk
rather
about
not.
round 7.
I
I
share.
had a really rough round.
I don't think you were alone, Al, by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
So, but first, first up. Let's get the table up. So going into round 7, this is what the doors look like as we go through the league, and sitting pretty at the top as they have been for quite some time, is never going to give you up or never going to get you hit the stars, obviously, of Dodgeball. Oh, it's funny because it's not true.
No.
Is our good team, Al. And then
Yeah.
just below them is Sweet Catcher Mine, and followed by Dodge Like an Egyptian with the donuts coming up quite close behind in the background there. Then we've got Janie's got a ball. My ball on ya. Dodgy deeds done dirt cheap. For whom the ball tolls. Dodging in the dark. And right down at the bottom, strongest team in the entire league. Should I stay or should I throw? So that's what it looks like going into the week. But first, as always, I think we've got a little bit of tea, haven't we?
Yay!
That's gone the wrong way. We mixed up our. Hang on, let's see if I can fix that. Because what happened there was that goes down 1. So now we're just going back from the start. Is that what you're doing, slide deck? I love it. I love it when a plan comes together.
I love
There we
that.
go. There we go. It's tea time.
We do 1 week without a script, and suddenly you think you're good at this.
Oh, it's you're not wrong. Okay, so we do have some tea this week, Al. A little bits and pieces coming in from some of the teams. So it turns out that Captain Chasmo is like some sort of reverse seer. According to his team, his pronunciations of Chasmish almost always end up with the opposite result. So he was heard to say, "All right, fellas, this time I'm definitely out," with a pause. And then after the turn happened, it was like, "I'm outperforming my opponent, and apparently I've won." Hey guys, I'm sorry to say I'm going to last longer than my opponent and win, apparently. And finally, he was definitely going to get hit his Hive Queen. Hey Maraudamo, how you doing? Welcome. So yeah, Chaz claiming he's going to lose actually means he's going to win, and hilariously pointed out by I think Osmosis Brent. So not only is he the boy who cried hit, he also apparently the reverse is true. Whenever he's so confident that he's going to win, he actually goes and loses, and the only thing he wins is a spot on the bench. So great job, Chaz. Carry on doing wonders there. We've had a couple of hurry up and plays this week. My favourite though, Al, was when someone contacted their opponent and said, "Hey, I got 5 minutes. We can play real time if you want to. No pressure." And I think that was declined. And then literally in less time than it would take to complete the real time game, they went, "Oh, I've got to go. Sorry, I've got something I've got to do." It's like, well, how much time did you really have to play? Think about those offers of real time play when you make them. We had Guianos offering to take a spanking from an entire team, which is always fun to see. And I think actually at least two of them took him up on that offer. And then finally, my favorite of this week, and the person who's culpable here is probably old enough to know better. But so within a team chat. And I think it's going to transpire that we know which team this actually is. But within a team chat, someone claimed that they had kind of pranked another member of their team previously, claiming that, they'd lost a finger and, this person was the only one who actually cared enough to ask further about how they lost their finger. And in the end, it was just a joke to give them the finger. However, one of the other teammates who had not been involved in this initial joke then went on to say, and I quote, "I will add that as we haven't had any actual proof that the four-fingered culprit hasn't lost his penis yet." Now, I'm not saying that that's calling for a dick pic. I'm not saying that.
No.
However, that could have been phrased much better in order to avoid any potential ill effects.
Yes.
And the person should remain nameless. They're not currently on one of the standard American time zones, though. I think they might be a little bit further west than that. But we'll leave it there.
Yeah. We would also like to point out, as much as we enjoy tea, we do not need any dick pics sent to the Tatler email address either.
None of those. Not a fan.
No.
We don't want to see the last turkey in the shop turn up in our mailbox. That's not what we want.
No.
Phrasing. Are we not doing phrasing anymore? No, Mo. No phrasing.
No.
At all.
We've given up on that. We were a lot more subtle and witty earlier in the season. Now we're just like, whatever, penis.
And and finally, actually, this was the gaff from before. We did in fact see a Rip on a late season gambit to try and sign a new player for his team. I'll leave it to the audience to decide whether he's trying to capture DG3 or simply Steph with this tremendous bag of money or bags of money that he's got. Maybe both. But definitely trying to get in.
Daryl is smiling real big there.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a signing bonus, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what the captains respectively have got to say about that. Sarah T and Rack are probably up in arms that their players are trying to get poached by dodging in the dark Captain Rip there. So we'll see if that pans out into any drama. But
I would also like to point out Rip works at Costco, and I will trade so many of my team members for free pizza and hot dogs from the concession area.
I know I'm not safe, but I don't. Al, I honestly don't think you'd get like even half a pizza for me, so you're probably better off trading one of the other players.
I'd take half of it. I mean, those pizzas are huge. Like, I will eat a couple pieces and then use the rest as like a blanket to sleep at night.
I mean, like, he is also the food court manager, I believe, so that totally is in his power to make happen.
I'm just saying.
Oh, neither of those are your. Well, I didn't say both of them were your players, Raka, but apparently I didn't even know which one is which. So none of them are your players. There we go. I could have. TG3's already on Rip's team. Disowning completely. All right. So with that scandal in the books, let's get into it, Al. And Court
All
One,
right.
a game that I think we'd both rather forget. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Where do I begin? So, it was not good going from the get go. I think I don't know what we'd done to foster this
Yeah. We won a
horrific.
couple races and then immediately threw catches.
Yeah, so I mean, in fairness, Dodge like an Egyptian got 4 of the 3 race balls.
Yeah.
And then JP seems to. I mean, we give JP some crap sometimes for playing slowly, but he quite often, when he's got a ball, he's straight in there on the take. He takes Baggio out like first throw of the game, kills him completely. So then Cbus misses Lady Stacy, perhaps a gentlemanly gesture, but then catches you
Yep.
as you try and take him out from like the expected potential hit on Lady Stacy, and then having caught your ball, he then goes back at Lady Stacy and eliminates him.
Right.
I come off my night shift, wake up, and I'm like, great, I'm awake, it's early, I can kill someone. So I throw at Cisco Alvarez, who, after 3 of his turns, has got a Factory World and 2 Scrappers in his deck, and we can guess how well that game went.
Yeah.
It was about an 89 differential, so that was a fun time. Agent Sato then takes out M-Colo before Baggio eliminates Jester and gets one back for the good guys. And Corey Bear follows on maybe a bit of momentum building to eliminate Sato. He then tries to take out the bus about 3 times in a row, but he dodges every single one. And Artemis dodges Corey's ball as well. So now what are we looking at now? It's like 5-on-2, I think. And it's looking fairly dire. Clever Missy gets in on the action, trying to take out the Mystic as Corey Bear is dodged by Cisco Alvarez. And Clever Missy, as she often does, catches the dickens out of Cisco Alvarez to revive Baggio. Because his zombie ball, despite his zombie ball, he was eliminated early, but he did come back there. Before JP, I believe, sank all of Corey's cards to the bottom. Eliminating him. Catching and eliminating him, rather. Cisco Alvarez then returns the favour and catches Clever Missy, and then JP rounds it all off with another elimination of Baggio to tie this match up in record style. And I must confess, and I don't want to be guilty of throwing shade here, but I think the record speaks for itself. We were expecting the game against Dodge Like an Egyptian to maybe go into week 2, and I think we were one of the quickest finishes.
Yes, it's something it really says something about how terrible we played that this game finished in a timely fashion, because Dodge Like an Egyptian is by far the slow. It's like they took like all of Mighty Stig's like ability to finish a game in a timely fashion and absorbed it and distributed it amongst their whole team. So, it seems like each one sort of takes turns, playing slowly.
Maybe there's just a curse that gets past every Dodgeball season.
Maybe, and when we kicked Mighty Stig out,
we let it loose.
Season, it just sort of like distributed out amongst. Yeah. But yeah, it was a quick game. It was a horrible game. We played like hot garbage.
I'd like to suggest. Oh, hang on, my dog needs to go. I'd like to suggest, perhaps, that There was a little bit of luck involved, but I don't think it could account for the absolute thrashing we received.
No, no. I mean, they are a good team. They have good players. But yeah, it was also we got a lot of bad draws
There's a
too.
phrase.
So
There's a phrase in England that covers this, I think, and it is "We were beaten like a ginger stepchild," and there's no two ways about it. So if you're
well, maybe
ginger
like
and if
Andy
you're a
or something.
stepchild, then you could maybe quote the veracity of that, but that's a thing that we have. It was a proper kicking.
Yeah.
So moving on swiftly to court
Mhm.
two, we see that we've got for whom the
Do we
ball.
want to name an MVP for that?
Oh, do we have to?
I mean,
There'll be so much
it certainly
gloating.
wasn't anybody on my team.
No, we all sucked. Go on then. You've done the work, so let's put the MVP in.
Yeah. So it was JP.
It was, yeah.
JP runs funny. He got 2 hits. He got a catch. He won his race. He won every game he played. I think he also maybe won the lottery last week with the luck that he was channeling.
Ginger stepchild Sato. I don't know. Are you? Are you one of those things?
He
Ian?
is one of those things.
He is one of those things. Well then. Well, you can tell us how many beatings you've received in your life, and we'll see whether that scans. However, on court two, we have for whom the ball tolls against the Donutters, or Donut Stop Reviving, and let's see whether Chasmo's predictions of demise and or success come through. Now, we started the game here with 4 of the race balls going to for whom the ball tolls, with only Wet Yeti, Cranky, and 1 Carlos winning ones for the Donuts. However, there were some very swift eliminations, as both Rollin' Par and Cranky Day were eliminated off the get-go. Zim taking off the head of Rollin' Par, whilst Cranky Day threw either a patsy or was just thoroughly outmaneuvered by Deanna B. But very quickly, the Donuts are down 2 bodies. Now, there's a period of play where nothing really happens for probably about, I'm going to say, 7 or 8 balls. There's a lot of dodging and missing going on. Zim, Chaz, Wet Yeti, 1 Carlos, Deanna B all getting in on the action. Osmosis, Brent trying to get one in, but failing until Chasmo finally eliminates Deanna B with the 20th action of the game. So that's 2-1. It's fairly balanced, and there's a couple more back and forths before Zim takes out the Yeti, and Bad Wolf dodges the zombie ball from the Yeti. However, Osmosis Brent, in a rare fit of catching, catches Deanna B and revives Rollin' Par before Bahamut eliminates Sir Thestral. So it's a fairly bloody period of play here as people are going down left, right, and centre, but a revival in there for the Donuts, as again bit of dodging from Chasmo as Zim misses him and Thestral and 1 Carlos get out the way, but Zim catches ball 5, reviving Deanna B. So all of this damage kind of being soaked back up as players keep coming back on the field. Zim takes out Osmosis Brent before 1 Carlos catches ball 6 and revives Cranky Day, and so it's still fairly balanced, but it's still advantage for whom the ball tolls. And this was, in fairness, arguably the longest game of the season we've had here, Al. Now, Cranky eliminates Zim, fresh on the field, takes out the opposing captain, dodges Deanna B before 1 Carlos eliminates her, and then Cranky Day eliminates Thestral. So the game has suddenly, from being nobody's down on the bench, for whom the ball tolls have lost 3 in succession, and the revives keep coming as Cranky Day catches Bad Wolf and revives Wet Yeti. So that's 3 revives now for Donut Stop Reviving. So they're now only down by 2 bodies against the 3 bodies that for whom the ball tolls are down. So it's slight advantage to them. Penguin Army rewards Cranky Day for his good work by sending him back to the bench. His zombie ball not being able to take out Ninjanin. And Wet Yeti starts throwing donuts like he's on a mission. He does miss Bad Wolf twice, but we're gonna see some of that come back around. But Bahamut again makes a catch, reviving Zim. So it's five players on each side right now. So the game's been chaotic. We're on like the 53rd, 54th throw of the game at this stage. So the game's just been an absolute roller coaster. But Chasmo makes a breakthrough when he takes out Ninja Nin. And I don't know what this sparked, how it sparked it, but Wet Yeti goes on an absolute rampage, taking out Bad Wolf and Zim in successive balls before dodging Zim's zombie ball. Rollin Par, empowered, eliminates Bahamut. And then Wet Yeti continues to dodge Penguin Army for about 3 or 4 balls, and he can't hit Chasmo either. And then finally, Wet Yeti catches Penguin Army's ball, eliminating him, and then catches Penguin Army's other ball to revive Sir Thestral and make everything look really good. So, in the end, there were 67 non-race balls thrown out in this game, and 6 revivals, 4 of them for the donuts. So, sticking true to their name there, and they really didn't stop reviving.
Yeah.
And I think for whom the ball tolls would have thought that maybe, like, they had a good start. 2 quick kills on the board with more race balls, looking like they were going to get it done, and just the donuts wouldn't give in.
Mm.
Now, where do you feel the MVP for this one sits? Because there were some good performances in there, Al.
There were some good performances, but I feel like one player sort of went above and beyond, and that was the guy who closed it out at the end of the game, Wet Yeti. I mean, he played 20 games and had a 70% win percentage. That's pretty gross to begin with. He got a couple hits. He got those 2 key catches at the end of the game. I mean, it was a pretty amazing performance.
That is a really good 20 games. Like, that's almost half of the games played that he was involved in, which is bonkers. So congratulations to Wet Yeti. As I close these down and make sure that I'm not looking at the wrong thing. Court 3. This one is Dodging in the Dark against Dodgy Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. A fascinating exchange about to take place, we think. So we've got Rip clearly on the scout for more players. I wonder why that might be, Al. Well, it started perhaps badly as Dodging in the Dark win one of the race balls, and Dodgy Deeds Done Dirt Cheap get all of the other 6, with only Compton P coming up empty-handed to Captain Rip. This game, it doesn't last a massive amount of time, but
did it last longer than ours?
It did last longer than ours. It did last longer than ours, in fairness. Although I'm pretty sure a candle in a baker's shop would have lasted longer than our game. So it begins by Raka again, another player who is always keen to get off the mark quickly, favouring Markbot with his race ball, and Markbot being keen not to be nailed down. Raka throws 3 at him and simply can't take him. A couple of close ones though, like he was 4 and 3 off in 2 of those games, just not being able to nail Markbot down. He's ducking and diving like a pro. And Tatiana misses MTG in real life before Alderin eliminates Guianos with the first one of the game. And then they immediately strike back, Rip eliminating Compton P and Raka, kind of rewarding him for all those throws against him. And then Darth Binkley catches Vorizori's ball, reviving Guianos. So we've gone we've gone from being one down to killing two of the opposition and reviving that body. They then go on to. Oh, Yarbs, that's right. Look, I thought it was a hit, but it's not. Yarbs catches that Sean guy and eliminates him. So, very quickly, three down, Dodgy Deeds done dirt cheap, as Rip catches Alderin and eliminates him after Alderin has missed Rip. So now they're four bodies down. They've only got three left on the field. And it looks like that race ball disadvantage has turned into an absolute kind of stranglehold on the game. However, Tatiana kind of steps into the fray, keeps trying to pin MTG in real life down and can't. Before Vorizori dodges Darth Binkley, and Dakaran dodges the throw from Markbot 3000. Now Tats finally gets her girl, popping MTG in real life onto the bench. And then Vorizori, apparently, I don't know whether it was the fear of another sacking from Jester 204 or whether he finally had his Weetabix, the reference that you North Americans might not necessarily get we've had before, whereby eating the right cereal in the morning gives you superpowers. But he goes on, he eliminates Binkley, he eliminates Rip, and he catches Rip's ball reviving Compton P. So all of a sudden, Vorizori single-handedly turned the match. Now Tatiana dodges the throw from Yarboa before Compton P, inspired by his teammates, eliminates her. Then Tatiana eliminates DG3 before Dakaran eliminates Markbot 3000, and all of a sudden, Dodging in the Dark are absolutely reeling. Now Vorizori misses Guianos, but Compton P gets the job done, eliminating him. And just like that, in the space of about 10 balls, the game has gone from being what could only be considered a whitewash for Dodging in the Dark to them being down and out for the count. And quite a stunning turnaround there, Al.
Yeah. I think it's real telling. You said something that I don't think we have ever said on this show or in the history of Dodgeball, and that is Vorizori steps in and turns the match around.
Yep.
Because that was a completely just like that came out of nowhere, and it's great to see a player who's been in the league for so long like really turn it on and turn up.
And you can, and people sometimes do talk about the quality of the opposition with when a hit is made, but Darth Binkley and Rip, very good players, and
Oh yeah,
it's.
I think it speaks to something that happens with dodgeball players is you may start out being sort of thought of as a weaker player, but as you play more and more dodgeball, you just get better.
Yeah, and I think
whether you're trying to or not.
I think it's a real crucible for that as well. You see a lot of dodgeball players like go on to win in-app tournaments and do very well in things, and maybe they were good to begin with, but regardless of how good you are or are not when you start dodgeball, I think it only improves your game.
Yes.
Because it forces you to think about the game in ways that you hadn't. And, I'll take Clever Missy example, one of our teammates. Like, there aren't many players who can just catch like that. Just go out and just get a catch. And it's, you're talking about just deciding that you're going to win a game by 50. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I can't do that, but I know Jen can. So it definitely forces you to think about the game differently. I think it improves. It does nothing but improve the game. So yeah, really nice to see Alex Vorizori really turn on the class there. And his teammates must have been absolutely thrilled with that performance. Right. Is that your MVP, Al?
Yeah, I think that's going to be my MVP. He got the 2 hits. He got the catch. He won his race. I'm going to double check his win percentage here, but 88%.
Whoa.
He won 7 of his 8 games. That's pretty amazing.
Can't say fairer than that.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great. Oh yeah, we need to get rid of that game. So on to court 4, and this is a Sisso sit against my ball Anya. So Sisasit sitting quite comfortably at the bottom of the table, and their achievement this year, this season rather, seems to be the one that I think we should all aspire to, which is just having a jolly good time.
Yeah.
Nothing but hilarity seems to come out of that team chat. So that's always good. And they had two balls to console themselves with when my Bologna took five of the race balls. And this game, again, Al, I think it was pretty quick, but I still think it wasn't quite as quick as our game.
No.
Darklighter gets us going by missing Poop Deck a couple of times, and Super Grandma dodges the throw from Wolfhound as Patriarch dodges Sarah T before Darklighter. Finally, again, like coming from the school of I'm going to get my target and I'm going to throw at them until we're done, finally gets Poop Deck onto the bench and off the court with first blood of the game. Wolfhound dodges the throw from Super Grandma before Slavic eliminates Simply Steph. She was obviously having too much fun playing Star Realms and eating Costco pizza. Darklighter, not done, decides that it's time for Lux to hit the bench too, as Fred Sucks Lux parks himself on the bench, courtesy of Darklighter's hit. Imam misses for Celis. She can't nail the former Moneyballer down before Fire Driller can, catching the Englishman in the age-old duel of the Germano-Anglo relations, eliminating him with an almost endurance-like catch, 93-point differential, really sticking him to the bench there. Super Grandma, ending Darklighter's reign of terror with a catch, sends him to the bench before she dodges the Wolfhound's attentions, and Kincaid takes out Sarah T. We've got then Super Grandma dodging Slavic, and the Wolfhound finally doing what no one else on his team could do, catching and eliminating Super Grandma to make sure that she rests her weary legs from her trips to Tequila Land. Now, Agent C13 can't get Patriarch can't quite get him on the first attempt, but he does get him when Agent C13, being the gentleman that he is, decides to return the favor and throw back at him. Doug saying thank you very much, and taking that ball away from him and asking him if he'd like to take a rest. His zombie ball misses the Wolfhound before Slavic. Oh, is that a double elimination of Agent C13? I think it is. So actually, the game was over when Patriarch caught his ball, but Slavic double tapped him. I don't know whether he threw that ball like just before the hit to get an extra one, or whether that was a ball that had been kicked off ages away. But either way, Super Grandma with her zombie ball can't take out Imam. And the game is over in about 31 actions. Siso Sit not able to get it done, and my Bologna bringing that one home. Now I do know that Tim had his anniversary this week, so congrats to Tim. Anniversary, always a good thing. So playing through there, maybe that's why he got hit, because he just had more important things to do. That's why he
Could
got
be.
caught. I don't know.
I've said for years, the three demons you must slay to be successful at Star Realms are friends, family, and religion. So obviously Tim was not listening to that and decided to choose, family and love over Dodgeball.
Well, I mean, if he can't sacrifice the happiness of his entire life for a bit of Dodgeball, then really, what kind of good is he?
I mean, yeah, what kind of life is that if your entire happiness and well-being hinges on a
lifelong
card?
commitment? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So I think it's worth mentioning here, though, Al. I know they didn't, but if they did, I think Super Grandma put in a great performance. If Sisasit had actually done anything useful in this match,
yeah, if they had won, Super Grandma would easily be the MVP of the match.
True story. Now, is it worth pointing out here, Al? And I don't mean to take us back in time.
No.
But if I remember rightly, as we were looking at the stats here, I think my Bologna played about as well as we did.
Yeah.
if you look at kind of the gradings and the stats, I think
Right.
Slavic's team played about as well as your team did, and they got the win.
Yeah. So
How's that make you
that's
feel?
um as good as you think it will. No, I mean, not to take anything away from my Bologna, because it was a full team effort. They didn't have one person
No,
who just
absolutely,
went
yeah.
out and did it. They had a lot of people do a lot of different things, and it all added up. And
Hmm.
I honestly, I love those teams and those matches where it isn't just like one person running hot and going
Yeah,
and just taking the match over. It was a lot of people doing a lot of different things. That made for no obvious sort of like MVP right away, but it made for a lot of really good players showing off. Um,
so with that in
because
mind, Al, where did you
I mean, there were a lot of options. I mean, Slavic did a great job. He won 75% of his games. Kincaid, I mean, he won 100% of his games, but he only played 2 games.
yeah, that's
Patriarch won 60% of his games. He got, you know, a catch and then there's Wolfhound who also got that key catch at the end. He won his race. And he had a good win percentage. So it's tough. Like I could give it to any one of those 4 players easily because it was a full team effort.
yeah,
So I'm going to go with the person I like the most.
that
So
seems
it's going to
fair.
go to the Wolf.
Excellent
Yeah.
choice. Well, congrats to him.
Uh,
I've just realised
I'm
I've got
actually
that.
I'm giving it to the Wolfhound because he turned in a good performance. He played games. He got that catch. He also, like I said, it everybody put in a good performance. So we're gonna give it to the guy who's at the end of the bench. He's a rookie. You if you get production out of that last draft spot, that's what gets you. That's what wins you games. So yeah, I'm giving it to Andrew. I'm giving it to Wolfhound.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Okay, well, congrats to Andrew. And yeah, taking out the opponent's best player of the game.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good day at the office. So on to Court Five and the final game of the round, and this one is between Janie's got a ball and I can't see this small text. It's you'd think I'd know them by now, wouldn't you?
Sweet catch of
Sweet
mine.
catch of mine. There you go. I was just trying to bring up the table. I need a bigger monitor because this one is not cutting it for me. So as we go into the final court, let me just get rid of that. Um, Sweet catch. So Captain Acox against Captain Risker, and this actually might have been the shortest game of the round, Al. Even shorter than ours. Too slow. Sorry, Marauder Mo. Sometimes that lag on it's not a big delay, but it can make the difference. So yeah, this game fairly brutal. Marauder Mo probably quite interested in this one because he's playing in it. So the game begins with Janie taking the 4-3 ball advantage from the races, and Marauder Mo not wasting any time, getting off the decks and taking Captain Risker out of the game with the first ball. Big 70 differential. Get rid of that captain. Tuna Slap can't reply with a killing of Darth Kronos, and Marauder Mo then misses Dusto, but Kronos catches Tuna Slap's second attempt, taking him out of the game, which is a big deal for that team because Tuna Slap probably one of the most dangerous players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
And his zombie ball, not Dusto zombie ball. Dusto dodges Marauder Mo and then misses Marauder Mo, can't quite get him, and then, like almost like it was foretold, Dusto goes back for thirds, just like Tuna Slap went back for seconds on Darth Kronos, and Marauder Mo catches Dusto, eliminating him. So we're now 3 down. Darth Kronos eliminates the Civics player, and Civics on his deathbed takes out Politesk. So a little bit of retribution there. Before Borkenbeans dodging Cyberduck, and Sturrock eliminates Cyberduck. So we're down to just a handful of Janie's players left, and Acock's not taking his foot off their throat as he takes out Ass Clown. Marauder Mo eliminates Sabella. No danger of Sablefest here, Al. And Sable can only take out VQ in response. And that game is over as quickly as you could say sixpence.
Yeah.
There were maybe two, three, four. I count 6 balls that didn't make their target.
Yeesh. Yeah. Was that so? That was a quick game. Also, I think that was the quickest of the round, right?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
Now we had a game that was lagging from last week. Did this game finish before the lagging game from last week?
Do you know? I don't know. That's actually a great question. It is entirely possible.
I don't know.
I know if any of the captains are watching from that game from the previous round, but I don't think that there were like 3 players left alive, weren't there?
Yeah.
And I don't think it took too long to get it finished. I know the races were going, and I think throws began, and that game was still ongoing. But I don't know if this game was over before that one. It's entirely possible, though, because this game was over fast.
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cranky is the official keeper of all the knowledge. So
of all the things.
He will know for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows.
Anyway, let's get to the reason why Marauder Mo tuned in live tonight.
Oh, there we go. Rack is coming. Technically, we still had an active ball until that morning. Or this morning.
Okay.
Until this morning.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. Definitely finished before the other game ended.
Yeah. So
those active balls. Gotta watch them. Sorry, Al, I rudely interrupted you. You were saying that Marauder Mo must have had the tip off, did he?
Yeah. Mo is getting the MVP.
Fair enough.
2 hits, a catch, the race win. You know, I'm sure he'll be excited, and if he does well, he can tune in again live next week. And if not, he will catch the next morning VOD.
Indeed, yes. Now, so that leaves us with the end of the round, and I think the table now, as we look at the standings, is we've really, Al, it's altruism. We've done everyone a favor if you want to look at it this way, because before round 5, never going to get you hit, maybe running away with it at risk of being boring and a season of just X and O. But by losing 2, we've actually brought Sweet Catch of Mine back into being tied for first place, and now it's a race.
Yeah. And I think we're playing them this week, too.
We are actually. It is a top-of-the-table clash between Never Gonna Get You Hit and Sweet Catch of Mine going into round 7. Oh, we know, Compton. We know we've got the most valuable player of the round, and Moneyball still to come, don't you worry. We're just teasing that out. So below those two teams who are heading head-to-head this week, we've got Dodge Like an Egyptian, Do Not Stop Reviving, and Dodgy Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, who are all 4 and 3, just 1 game behind.
Right.
And then For Whom the Ball Tolls, Janie's got a ball, and My Ball on Ya, all at 3-4. And then Dodging in the Dark, and Should I Stay or Should I Throw, both not doing quite so well. Rip and his team had like a resurgence. They won 2 on the bounce, but sadly put away this last round, and couldn't get being so close as well. Couldn't get the 3rd win of the season. So then
also, Cranky is saying My Bologna also is 4 and 3.
Oh, they are 4 and 3. That is a typo. My bad. So that would put them That would put them just below Dodgy Deeds Done Dirt Cheap on the breakers. Oh, you're combining Mo and MVP since he won. Mo MVP. I see what you did there, Compton. I see what you did there. So yes, that's where the table stands. My ball on you should be a couple of slots higher.
Should I be concerned that last season Corey Bear's team was really, really good and looked really dominant, and then sort of like crashed out at the end of the season and didn't win? And
he was
my
your first pick.
Started out really dominant and is starting to crash out at the end of the season. And I also have Corey Bear on my team.
I mean, it's. I don't want to be that guy, but it's possible there's some kind of late season hoodoo going on.
So, yeah, I mean, we've talked. I mean, people talk about nanobots, like that card having like a curse associated with it, like getting.
I don't want to hear about nanobots this week.
Could it be that Corey Bear is the nanobots of Dodgeball?
It's possible. The thing is that doesn't always work out because he's a tank in BGG, and I know Corey won't thank me for saying this, but he's having a bit of a mare this season. He is very very close to being the least lucky player in BGG so far. I know I just beat him in our game where we both attempted to bottom deck absolutely everything. I left him at 1. He then left me at 2, and I had a Viper and a Stealth Needle as the only cards in my hand that could do anything. So I only just killed him. So he's certainly having a bad run. He's having a couple of bad days at the office. But Juan also absolutely battered me this week with nanobots as I flipped it for him. He said, "Thank you very much." Never looked back, topped it every time, and just butchered me. So I'm sure Corey will bounce back. I'm sure it's not a forever curse, but yeah, it's not. There are definite whiffs of last season about this top of the table performance that seems to be,
Just don't use the word whiff around me. I will always see your whiff and double it.
I did forget that is something that you are not unknown for, Al. I do apologize for bringing the W word to the show.
That's all right. All right. I think we've tortured these people enough. They're only sitting around waiting for the MVP and Moneyball so then they can click off and go watch something entertaining.
It's true. We can't even pad for long enough to raid Matt the Cutter. We need to let them go. So So let's get to that then, Al. Who is your player of the round?
I am going to give it to Wet Yeti.
Yeah.
He had 2 hits. He had a ridiculous 4 catches and an 88% win rate. He dismantled the other team. It was a great performance. So Wet Yeti.
Very nice. And while we're talking about most voted players, the commissioner has come into chat and just asked us if we can get a shout out for Bad Wolf's round 6 performance. Now, not eligible for player of the round because the game hadn't finished when the show came out. I think she would have been in the running for it, Al, because she had an absolute cracker of a round. She caught her first dodgeball of not just the season but also her career. And kind of single-handedly won that game for her team. It was an absolute cracker.
If that game had finished by the time we did our show, she would have been eligible for MVP of the round and probably Moneyball too. Like she just had an amazing performance.
Yeah, she had a really, really good performance.
And she deserves so many props for that.
Yeah, so huge credit.
It's a shame.
Huge
credit. I think I won MVP for the round, and you know how much I hate that. So
it's not your favorite.
Giving it to Bobby.
Yeah, no, it's Bobby Mullins. What's that? Cranky Day fact checking only 2 catches this round to Yeti. Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Who wrote this? Like you barely had to write a script this week, and you're already so many mistakes. We're going back to a script next week.
That's all right. I can free up another 6 hours to make that happen. No problem.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, it's
That's
true.
what we keep Cranky around for. One for fact checking to make sure everything is accurate, and to also do everything else in Dodgeball.
And to do everything else in Dodgeball, including apparently drunk texting his team chat on his birthday. But we won't go into that right now.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, we never say it enough. Huge thanks to Adam and everything he does as we're about to kick off another squad skirmish after this season wraps up. I think the sign-ups are up for that, so make sure that you check that out.
Yeah, I gotta say, squad skirmish is so much fun with the 3-on-3, but also do not underestimate how much work and effort Cranky puts into squad skirmish as far as side events go, because there are so many teams to manage and so many brackets. Like, I think it
So
might be
many
more
teams.
complicated than just league play.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous how he's able to keep all that straight and get it all going. So much props to him. And I, because he asked, he was like, "What you do in the offseason?" I was like, immediately like squad skirmish. And then I remember like when he posted, he's like, "I'm gonna need like 30 people as team captains." I was like,
"Oh right, it's 30
him.
teams."
Yeah,
it's true. But you know, if you know people who might be interested in Dodgeball, then Squad Skirmish is a great kind of entry level, kind of mini tasterette of a
I
full
believe
season.
that's Wet Yeti was technically a rookie this season, but he had played in Squad Skirmish before,
I think
which is
so.
why he's
Yeah.
been able to jump in so well.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not forget Moneyball, Al, because
Yeah.
we kind of dipped out of that just to talk about other things. But who's your Moneyball for the round? Because there's a couple of options, I think, right?
There were a couple options. I mean, we talked about Wolfhound possibly getting it. Compton P did real good.
Yeah, he had a good round.
Yeah, there were a few options this week. Darth Kronos also, who has won it once before this season, was another option that I looked at. But I am going to give it to Vorizori.
I think
he was a 5th round pick for Raka.
Yep.
He managed 2 hits, a catch. He was an MVP for his match. It's got to be the less acclaimed Alex.
The less acclaimed Alex.
No,
we like Alex. He's a good
we love Alex, and Vori did a great job this season. And I love to sass him and give him shit. So
absolutely, he is always good for a good bit of blaming. You know, some people like to blame Canada. I know that Jester definitely likes to blame Vorizori pretty much all the time.
My personal favorite is blaming Politis, but just it's a personal choice.
Absolutely, and I think that is the alpha choice in the blame category is always blame Politis.
Yeah.
So Al, he crushed it. He really did. He had a great round. So Al, I don't think there's anything more from us apart from the fact that we'll wrap up episode 1 of Fake News Ball and get on our way. So apologies to the commissioner for any lack of accuracy that may have aired.
You know what happened was he said to us this week. Was it this week? Last week? He said to us recently how much he appreciates our show because it adds a lot of like flair and color to the event and makes league play special.
Should never.
And so we then saw that as a challenge, and then had to immediately prove him wrong by
how wrong can Adam be about something? Like, he's got to be wrong about something. Like, he's usually right about stuff, right? So like everyone's wrong about something.
Yeah.
So
we had to make him wrong about this.
About this, it's true.
We just have to keep messing up stats because we know that's the one thing that will make Adam's head explode.
How can we make Adam sad? Get the stats wrong.
Yeah.
And watch that involuntary twitch as it threatens to burst a blood vessel in his upper forehead. Exactly. Have a great week, everybody. Good luck in round 7, unless you're on Sweet Catcher Mine, in which case I hope you have butter on your hands. And we shall see you at some point in the future depending on when round 7 ends, because we don't want to commit to anything. Because whenever we say we'll see you this time next week, invariably it's
It,
about 15 million days until we
yeah.
air. So have a great week. We'll see you next time. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him.
Bye.